Hello, this is God of Tomatoes, and welcome back to another unit review for Chess Evolved Online. Today we'll be looking at the Prince and the King as of version .54. The Prince starts with a value of 9 and has the same movement and attacks as the King. However, it has the special ability that if your King is dead, when you kill a minion or a champion with the Prince, it'll turn into a new King and give you 20 of your morale back. The Prince Plus, or Prince Tier 2, gains a value of 1, however, it gains a movement-only square orthogonally in each direction going outwards away from it. The Prince Double Plus gains an additional 2 value and turns those move-only squares into attack and move squares. The final Prince tier has a total value of 14 and turns those King attack squares into unblockable attack squares. The Prince was originally introduced in version .9.25, and as far as the King goes, the King is just as important as in normal chess. The only difference is that you do not lose here when you lose your King. You simply lose 25 morale and 3 morale per turn. To showcase the combinations of both the Prince and the King, I have created 2 test armies. The first great combo with the King and the Prince is the Royal Guard, since the Royal Guard can teleport directly to the King and the Prince at any time. Wrath also combos well with the Prince, as you can have a Prince and a Wrath guarding a King. That way when your King is attacked, your Prince can quickly take back your King, and Wrath strikes lightning on the enemy's King. Comet is also helpful for getting the Prince kill in order to turn your Prince into a King, in case you miss the chance to avenge your King immediately after its death. Valkyrie can also pair very well with the King and Prince, for 2 reasons. Number 1 being the more obvious, that it can teleport the King away from danger, and number 2 being that once the King does get replaced by the Prince, since the King will have died, that means you'll be able to use the Valk. So now you're probably wondering, which Prince does its job best? And for that, it comes down to 2 main contenders, the Base Prince and Prince Triple Plus. The Base Prince is good because it's low cost and has the effectiveness needed, as it can guard the King and avenge the King in case the King dies. However, it does have some disadvantages, which is why the Prince Triple Plus could also be useful. Prince Triple Plus is a bit costly for what use you're getting out of it. However, Prince Triple Plus is useful since it has unblockable attacks, and some units have block squares. Now granted, typically after they kill the King, their block squares will be lost as they'll lose those on killing the King, but it's always better to be on the safe side if possible. Prince Plus and Prince Double Plus aren't worth using because you're not going to get all that much more use out of them, and the whole point of the Prince is it's a fail-safe in case your King dies, and you're not really going to get morale back. In fact, you lose 5 morale every time that you have to use a Prince to save your King, on top of whatever morale you lose for how many turns it takes you. So, you want to go with the cheapest options available typically,